Hello and welcome to episode 119 of VocTerGaming. I am your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Rain, and we are here with a best of 3 from MLG. This is a Protoss versus Zerg starring, spawning as the Red Zerg. He is on Team Evil Geniuses. His name is EGIdrA! And his opponent will be our Blue Protoss. He is on Team FXOz and his name is none other than Oz. So, the last really good Protoss vs Zerg I watched was the GSL Finals, where it was MVP Genius versus his teammate MVP Dongray Gu. If you haven't seen that, I swear to God, it is worth the money of the entire season just to watch those VODs. Spoiler, Genius makes frigging carriers at one point. Carriers in a pro game, not just in a pro game, in the highest of level pro games. It's incredible. Go watch them. Like, I will wait. You can come back and then watch this. Because, so exciting. But anyway, I've been told by a few people now that this series, Oz vs EGIdrA, is another fantastic PvZ. And I'm dying to see more. It's a match I'm probably one of the least familiar with because obviously I'm a Terran player and therefore know nothing about Starcraft, blah 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 blah. But it is just fantastic. I'm a huge fan of watching PvZs. There's so many routes it can take. Obviously, you tend to see Colossi from Protoss, you tend to see Archons towards the late game, but there's so much you can do. You can DT rush and hope they don't have an Overseer out. You can proxy Void Rays. You can build a pylon and a Stargate up here and hope he doesn't scout you, and send in a shit ton of Void Rays and Phoenixes. You can do the same from this location. There is just so much as a Protoss you can do. As it is, Oz is Forge first expanding. Or in fact was he, because I think the expansion went down first. Either way, he's getting a Forge and he's half walling off and expanding. That is pretty much all you need to know. EGIdrA meanwhile went pull first. That's pretty standard for EGIdrA. Obviously I prefer the hatch first build, as I've stated many times before, but I think it's fine. Pull first isn't going to harm your economy that much to the point where you're going to lose because of it, so it's perfectly fine to play a bit safer. This is going to be really interesting to see how this goes. EGIdrA, of course, is a player I have featured many times before. One of my favourite pro gamers of all time is Greg, real name Greg Fields. He's known for his temper, he's known for his bad manner, he's known for being very blunt and straightforward, but that's why we like him. The game needs characters, you know. It's wonderful if everyone could be nice to each other, but sometimes it's fun to have a bit of a bad boy. You know, the Ronnie O'Sullivan in your snooker, the Martin Skirtle in your football. Someone, you know, who's a bit different, or perhaps, you know, slightly more up-to-date. Mario Balotelli. See, I know about the football. And according to YouTube, half my audience is American, and none of you know what I'm talking about right now, because I'm talking about snooker and football, so I'm going to shut my mouth. Oz, meanwhile, is a Korean Protoss player who is doing really well for himself lately. Advancing decently within the GSL, but more importantly, just showing some really good games, and obviously doing fairly well at MLG. I will not say how well, partly because I don't actually know. I didn't get to watch MLG because I was having a lot of problems at the time and did not have any spare time to devote to it. Now, as we see, EGIdRA's third base is going up, but Oz has scouted it, is sending some zealots over, got a pylon in to warp more units in, and in fact is going to cannon it. So very nice play there from Oz. Meanwhile, also getting Protoss ground weapons level 1, you may as well if you're getting the Forge that early. Now with the 3 zealots here, in fact, this is going to be really hard for EGIdRA to stop. Nice positioning there of the zealots means less surface area is available to the Zergling. More cannons going down and a second pylon. A queen comes down now though. So in fact cancels that second pylon. It looks like he's just going to get out of here. Wouldn't surprise me if he cancelled this cannon at the last second as well. But no, is going to finish that. That will immediately die. So EGIdRA's third stays safe. I always think that's a really nice tactic to use against, especially a player like EGIdRA, because he's such an emotional player. Something like that can tilt him, can make him stop thinking clearly and make him more aggressive than he actually wants to be. So we have a few more gates going down from Oz now. He's going up to 4 gate. Warp gate is on the way. He should be fine. He has the wall off here that should stop these Zerglings from doing any real damage should EGIdRA try and attack at this point. So Oz, I'd say, starting fairly well. The thing now is, though, he's going to have to either expand himself or take down this third base pretty quick. Protoss 2 base can be strong, however, Zerg 3 base, especially this early, and especially droning as hard as EGIdRA has been, is going to very, very quickly outstrip you in economy. So as we see, Oz is getting Protoss Ground Armor level 1 now. He's getting a Robo up. I assume he's going to go pretty much quickly into Colossus. We have a lair on the way for EGIdRA, along with a Roach Warren. Roach Warren a really good idea at this point. That's going to help break any kind of Stalker pressure from Oz. And we have a macro hatch going down as well. Really nice to do. When you've droned up this hard, and if we take a quick look at the units, we see 60 drones already. So you really want that macro hatchery to make the most use of your economy. We have a spine crawler going up, 6 roaches being made, and there is Zergling speed just finishing. Oh, interesting move from Oz. We have a Twilight Council on the way, rather than a robotic support bay. Whereabouts is he hiding that? Right at the back of the base, hoping EGIdRA will not scout that for a good while. I'm going to assume that's headed to High Templar and Archon, if he's not going to go the Colossus route to begin with. Is just pumping out Immortals. Immortals, though, very good against Roaches, so could be useful to stop any Roach pressure. And interestingly, Oz is just going straight for Blink. So it does look like Stalkers. Roaches now killing these Zealots. Roaches far, far better than Zealots. Oz did get a few drone kills there as nothing important. He is now getting ground weapons level 2 and trying to take this third base, interestingly enough. Nothing but sentries here to defend, which will be not that easy if he decided to run Zerglings in, because of course they can come in by 2 ways, so yeah, that kind of scares me. But of course he just has this small force of Roaches right now. Not really worried about those Speedlings at this point. Taking on the forward pylon of Oz. Always worth it as a Zerg player to scout this kind of thing out and take them down. It's lost economy for your opponent if he wants to remake them. And even if he doesn't, it means he cannot pressure you as effectively. We have a Spire on the way somewhere for EGIdRA. It must be in the main base. Meanwhile, this small Speedling force is moving out. Now we have gateways here, though, to block this off. So that is entirely walled off now, and added cannons means he will not be able to attack too well from this direction. He's going to come in and try and do some damage. This cannon is going to finish, but with the Roaches there, could potentially break this down really quickly. That's what he needs these sentries for. Excellent defense there. 2 Immortals there, going to shut that down pretty effectively. Going to try again with the Roaches. Coming in to take down the cannon, but force fields the Roaches in so they can't run away, and now would be the time for the Immortal to get those hits in, doing a lot of damage here. 1 gateway goes down, but that doesn't really matter because all the Roaches are now dead. Observer here watching the Speedlings knows he's not at any risk right now, so EGIdRA's response to that is to drop a 4th hatchery over here. Good response right now. If your attack fails, why not expand? Oz now is going to push out with this army. Interesting to see where he goes with this. If he goes down to the 4th base, it pretty much will die. But EGIdRA has that macro hatch, so he has 4 hatcheries up. He has a ton of queens, he has a ton of lava, so he can create units really, really quickly. We now have muters out on the field, which are going to help against the Immortals, and will actually help against the Stalkers. Even though Stalkers are anti-air, once you get a big enough muter clump, their AoE just kills stuff really, really quickly. Ground Carapace level 1 is on the way, along with the Muter attack upgrade. Burrow is also on the way, that's going to help the Roaches. We have a Robotics Bay on the way for Oz, so going to head into Colossus. Interestingly enough, a Warp Prism coming out, perhaps for some harass. or even as used in the army as a forward pylon. But now IGIdra's moving in for a big attack here. Speedlings and Mutas going to take down a lot of sentries here, which is a really nice attack from EGIdrA. Those sentries losing a lot of gas there. So that's lost time in terms of energy and lost gas. And EGIdrA spots the warp prism, so he's going to be wary of any harass. The Mutas, though, will help put a stop to any attempted harass. Meanwhile, Oz is going to try and take a 4th base. Pushing forward, going to use that as a forward staging ground, perhaps. But these Speedlings come in to try and kill it quickly. Will he be forced to cancel it? Doesn't get a cancel off. Oh, EGIdrA, very, very nice there. That was a lot of lost money for Oz. Oz, of course, has a decent economy right now, but that's still frustrating, and now he's going to lose this pylon as well. So Oz, in fact, is just going to ignore that and go in for a counter-attack. Going to try and come up this ramp, perhaps, and push into the second, into the natural. That would be the right thing to do. This is the kind of thing you want to do with Zerg. You either want to deny their expansions, but once they're up, you want to try and come into the main. But this is a lot of Speedlings. Oz could lose his entire army now. But using the Warp Prism to warp in reinforcements, still all the Immortals dying really, really quickly. And now he has nothing but Stalkers. One Zealot here is not going to be enough. All of this army is going to die. The Stalkers blink back. The Warp Prism goes down. Excellent defense there by EGIdrA. That was a poor attack by Oz, and now Oz is in somewhat of a troubling situation. He has the 3rd base up, but he doesn't have the 4th. EGIdrA has 4 bases up and a macro hatch. He has these Mutas which he can use to harass. He's taking down even more Stalkers. Both men have huge economies right now, but Oz will be the first to be starved out because EGIdrA just has more bases than him. Oz still has this forward pylon. It's not been scouted yet by EGIdrA. EGIdra's getting Overseers up just in case. Always worth doing. They're very, very cheap and very fast, especially if you get the speed upgrade. Protoss ground armor level 2 is on the way. This forward pylon goes down. Infestation pit is on the way though, along with pneumatized carapace. So we're going to have Infestors out soon. Templar Archives on the way. It's going to be for High Templar with Storms. Probably into Archon, I would imagine. We have this flock of Mutas now. It's still not quite at the mass needed to just go in and start killing stuff, but he's adding more all the time. And with a Speedling force underneath it, he could do some damage at the front right now. And it looks like that's what he wants to do. Interesting. Oh, streaming right in through that gap, and he's just going to kill probes. Going for this cannon, targeting down the cannon. Stalkers going straight for the Mutas though, and that is a ton of Stalkers, so these Mutas need to get the hell out of there. Taking down a pylon here. Oh, that's going to depower the Templar Archives and the Twilight Council. That's not going to matter too much. He can make the pylon there very, very quickly again. So it's not going to bother him too much. Meanwhile, we have a Hive going down. Ground Armor level 2 is nearly finished. We have another hatchery from EGIdrA at this point here. So EGIdrA adding yet another base. The Mutas, though, coming back in to do even more damage to the probe. Stalkers blink under them and do not get a kill. Very, very close. And now that's 17 workers killed from EGIdrA. So we are at now 97 drones to 71 probes. Love it, love it, love it from EGIdrA. That is what you want. A lot of players will choose to stick around 80 drones, but I really like that. Going up to 90, hitting this economy super, super hard, focusing on just remaking any units he loses. He can now engage cost inefficiently, essentially. He has so much banked up, he has so much economy. He can attack, lose all his units, and attack again before Oz can remake them. We have pathogen glands on the way while this battle rages. More and more Stalkers dying. And again, Oz's food supply is dwindling. It's going down slower than EGIdra's, but the thing is, EGIdRA can just remake units, so his ends up staying stable. We have Protoss ground armor level 3 on the way. Attack level 3 is done. High Templars are coming in. They're going to be made into Archons. So this is going to be Archon, Stalker, Zealot. Interesting that he built the robotics bay, but we've not got any Colossus on the field yet. Those Mutas just too damaging, perhaps, making you want to go more into Archons with their anti-air capabilities. Now we have a big force pushing through the spine crawlers. This feels like a strong attack from Oz. Oz basically needs to do a lot of damage here. He needs to start taking down the economy of EGIdRA. That's what he needs to do. He needs to start starving him of minerals, starving him of bases. And as it is, Oz is taking down this army, but EGIdra's remaking really, really fast. He still has that bank of money up here. The 2,000 odd minerals yet. But more High Templars being made, more Archons will be born from that. And now, EGIdRA loses his 4th base. Now Oz is going to push up. Oh, catches that Infestor. Nice snipe there. So, EGIdrA loses a lot of drones down here, in fact. Not retreating the drones. Full control. And oh, EGIdrA GG's! Damn! EGIdrA with a GG out of nowhere. He still had a bank of 2,000 minerals. Still had a ton of hatcheries. Admittedly, not much lava. But I'd have imagined him at least carrying on fighting to see if he could defend that. Wow. Okay, so EGIdrA GG's and Oz goes one game up in this best of 3. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out the brand new, totally remade, very sexy looking scforum.eu. Don't forget as well, you can get in touch with me personally by leaving a YouTube comment, talking to me on Twitter at VTJRain, or sending me an email at VocTerGaming@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching these videos. I really do appreciate every response I get and every view I get. So once again, thank you very much. I will be back next Tuesday with an SC Forum game. That is Raves playing against Lethal from about 3 AM. It's going to be hilarious and hopefully better than Shirt from last Tuesday. And then I'll be back Wednesday with Game 2 of Oz versus EGIdrA. So really, really looking forward to watching that. That was a really fun game. Be interesting to see how that goes. Once again, and for the final time, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Have a lovely weekend, and to those mothers of you watching, have a nice Mother's Day this Sunday.